Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome to May 6th. Today, we finished up graphing yesterday, so Monday and Tuesday we did graphing. Today, we're going to look at some geometry. Before we start, I want to start off by saying I miss you all so much, and I wish that we were together, especially during this week because it's Teacher Appreciation Week. All right, so let's start with this first. Now remember, geometry was a lot of vocabulary. So as we're going through this is going to be a lot of vocabulary, and that is one of the hardest parts about geometry. So let's knock out some geometry. Polygons. Remember, everything that we're talking about, all the shapes that we're talking about in here, we've been talking about polygons. Remember, a polygon is any shape that is a closed figure, means it has no gaps, no openings, no spaces. I can't walk from the outside to the inside without crossing over a line. That's what it means by closed. Flat 2D. It's not 3D. It doesn't have three-dimensional, like this has one dimension, two dimensions, but then it has a third that's like the volume of it. So, and then we're talking about three or more sides, because if it doesn't have three or more sides, it can't connect. Try and connect two sides together without a third. It doesn't work. And remember, all straight sides, no curves, and no intersecting lines. Now, remember, we name polygons by the number of sides, for example. So a triangle is simply a three-sided polygon because tri is three, and three-sided polygon. A quadrilateral is a four-sided polygon. A pentagon, what is it? Very good. Five-sided polygon. Hexagon is a six-sided polygon. Heptagon is a seven-sided polygon. Octagon, how many sides does an octagon have? Very good. An octagon is an eight-sided polygon. A nonagon is a nine-sided, and a decagon is a 10-sided polygon. Now, except for triangle and quadrilateral, you'll notice that each of these end in gon. That is because each of these is a polygon. Now, these are two, they just don't end with that gon. Sorry, boys and girls. All right, now remember, regular and irregular. The only reason they make you like that they put a difference between regular and irregular is because regular shapes have all the same side lengths and equal angles. So if we look here, these are all regular. I could say that this is a regular triangle because all three sides and all three angles are the same. If we look here at this bottom one, this is a regular pentagon because it tells me that if it says regular pentagon, that all five of these sides are the same length and they all have the same angle measures. And if you look over here, well, this looks like a trapezoid, but is this length the same as this length? No, so it can't be regular, so it's irregular when all the sides are not the same length. All right, so when we're talking about attributes of polygons, remember that's how we name them. So sides, we went over why we name them by the number of sides that they have. We look at angles. We see a cute little angle, which is smaller than a right angle. Then we have a right angle, which, it makes that like square. We can also call it a square angle because it makes a square. And then an obtuse angle is an angle that is bigger than a right angle. And when we're looking at parallel lines, we're looking at lines that run side by side. They don't touch. They don't get further apart. Quadrilaterals. Remember, quadrilateral is simply a four-sided polygon. Now, there are different kinds of quadrilaterals, and we name those by looking at those other attributes. The attributes such as parallel lines. What makes the trapezoid different than any other quadrilateral? Great job. It's the only one that only has one pair of parallel sides. And a quadrilateral, remember, is any four-sided polygon. All right, let's continue, boys and girls. You're doing a great job. We're going to go over this hotel quadrilateral a little bit more tomorrow because we're focusing on really polygons and all that vocabulary that you need in order to classify a shape. So let's look at our first whole group practice, and we only have 2 of these, and then your independent work for the day is 5 problems to answer at the end. So let's look at our whole group number 1. It says 4 polygons are shown below. Which statement is true? So if I look at all these are 4. They all have 4 sides. What is a 4-sided polygon called? It's a quadrilateral. Great job. Now, if we look at these, what does this one look like? It looks like a square. What we know is a square, right? But is this a square? Do all these have the same sides? No. So when it says all 4 polygons are rhombuses, so remember what a rhombus is. A rhombus is a 4-sided polygon. It is a quadrilateral. A rhombus has all sides congruent. Does this have all sides congruent? Or is this all sides congruent? No. So can all of these be rhombuses? No. Let's look at squares. Now we know that this one is a square, but is this a square? Because we know that a square also has, very good, 4 congruent sides. But this isn't a square, is it? No. So let's look at C. All 4 polygons are rectangles. Could this be a rectangle? Go through it. Does this, because a rectangle has opposite sides congruent, does this have opposite sides congruent? Yes, because every side is congruent to square, right? This one is. Look at this one, though. Is this opposite sides congruent? Is this length the same as this length? No. So right there, rectangles are out. So what do we know about these? Well, we know that they're all 4-sided polygons. They're all quadrilaterals. So your answer is D. Which statement is true about the polygons below? Both have right angles. Both are rectangles. Both have all congruent sides, and both have 2 acute and 2 obtuse angles. So let's look. Both have right angles. Let's go back to this one. This is a right angle, what we call a square angle, because this is what makes the angle. The 2 sides come together, and then it kind of makes like a square. That's a right angle. Do either of these show that right angle? No. What about both are rectangles? Could both be rectangles? Opposite sides are congruent, but remember, rectangles have to have 4 right angles. Are these right angles? No. So can they be rectangles? No. Let's look at C. Both have all congruent sides. Well, this side looks congruent to this side. This side looks congruent to this side, but I know that this side is not congruent to this side. So that can't be true. Let's look at D. Both have two acute and two obtuse angles. Remember, acute is smaller than that right angle. What is this? This angle right here. Very good. This is an acute, and this is an acute. What is this one? It's bigger than 90, or bigger than a right angle, so it's an obtuse. This is an obtuse angle, and this is an obtuse angle. So that one has two acute and two obtuse. Let's look at this one. What is this angle? Is it bigger than a right angle or smaller? It's bigger, so it's an obtuse. So that's one obtuse. Let's look at this one. What is this one? Great job. Obtuse. That's two obtuse. What is this one? It looks like it could almost be a right angle, but it's not exactly. It's smaller than that right angle, so it's an acute. This is an acute angle, and this is an acute angle, so our answer is D. Both have two acute and two obtuse angles. Now, for your work for today, this is what I would like for you to do. Remember when we tell you to answer the questions, because it's your turn. You're going to answer these 5 questions, and you're going to either answer on the slide or you're going to answer in the little comment section. So, D, both polygons have two acute and two obtuse angles. All right, so that is your independent work for today. All right, boys and girls, I will see you tomorrow for some more geometry. Remember, take the time, read it carefully. Remember what all that vocabulary. Geometry is a lot of vocabulary. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, boys and girls.